I love it. All of the things are happening right now.
Mhm.
All righty. Thank you again for being on. I know that you have a busy schedule and you have a million things going on, but this is great. Getting to hear
Yeah,
from you.
we're here. We're here. Make it happen. Appreciate you guys having me on.
All righty. Let's see. Yay. I see everybody or people going in
Love
there
it. All
chatting.
right.
All right. Well, it is two. Well, on and where I live, it's two. I don't know what time it is for you guys, but it is definitely time to start. So, welcome
All right.
those that are here and welcome those still to come. I'm going to double check and make sure that we are going live on Facebook to double check, see how people are doing on the internet. We're going to go viral. This is the goal here. All right. So, for those of you kind of coming in and starting to join us, I wanted to give you a quick intro into all of this madness. So, good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever time it is. Welcome to an Éxito session here. I'm Laura with Guild Mortgage's community lending team, and I am so excited to be joined today by somebody whose leadership has made a tremendous impact on our industry. Our guest is Edwin Acevedo, the 2026 National President of NAHREP. He's an accomplished real estate entrepreneur, investor, and business leader. A little background on him, alongside his wife, Claudia, who is an amazing human being. Edwin has built an integrated real estate platform spanning brokerage, lending, escrow, property management, and investment, all somehow while leading one of the top performing Century 21 offices in California. The man is a legend. Beyond his business success, he's dedicated his career to creating opportunities for Latino families, expanding homeownership, and developing the next generation of leaders. Today, we're going to go a little bit beyond all that resume stuff. We're going to talk about the risks that shaped your career, the lessons that you learned through leadership, and, a little bit about the future of Hispanic homeownership and what that truly means to have a legacy of service. That was a mouthful, but Edwin, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It is an honor to have you.
Thank you, Laura, for having me. I really appreciate it. There's an opportunity to share stories, share lessons learned, what have you. I'm all for it. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, well then let's start at the beginning. Let's learn a
All
little bit
right.
about you. Okay, so I heard a rumor, and this is just me very lightly stalking you on the internet. I heard a rumor that you used to work as a Boeing software engineer.
Yes, yes, I did. I
Okay.
did. That was something that you know, I didn't see coming. And I shared this at the New York regional event back in June, where, in life, when you're intentional about certain things in your life, as far as goals are concerned, things will manifest. And that's what happened to me at an early age. Uh, Ever since I was a kid, I would be fascinated with the outer space, just the spaces, this planet, and what have you. And I would read this book it was a Snoopy book. And I don't get too much in detail, but that book really kind of opened my imagination to, like, wow, what's out there outside of Earth. And so that really kept me, like, interested in it. So I don't know what I wanted to do after high school, but what happened was that in high school there was the teacher that basically announced to the class, "Hey guys, there's an aerospace company that's providing classes on aerodynamics and just things that related to, things that I wanted, right? That things that interested me."
Mm.
So he asked the whole class of 35 kids, each class, I would imagine, maybe at this point maybe 150 kids total, because he had 6 periods of classes, what have you. But he asked who wants to be part of it, and it was an after school program. It didn't involve credits, so we didn't get credit for high school. So it wasn't something that we wanted to do, get credits for, like something. It was just something that was volunteer work. It was just, "I'm not interested." So he asked the class, "Who is interested? Raise your hand." And without hesitation, I raised my hand. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm interested. I'm in. Let's do it." And I'm like, okay, here's the paperwork, it's every Tuesdays, you do your thing. And what ended up happening is I ended up going there after school, and took the class. And then the second year in senior high school, I took the class again. And what was going on is that program was run by employees of that company, which was Boeing at the time. And one of the teachers that was an employee was an HR employee, and she
Oh,
was
wow.
an older Latina lady, and she was holding the class. I won the scholarship through the program. After I graduated out of high school, I got a call 2 weeks later from her, and she said, "Mijo, get your resume ready, get it
Yeah.
updated. I'm gonna get you an internship at Boeing."
Oh, that's
I'm like,
awesome.
I'm like, okay, and I would hesitate, like, don't ask questions. Send me the email right now. And
Yes,
I'm
I'm
like,
in.
okay, boom. Next thing you know, I get a call 2 weeks later from a manager for an interview, and I get the internship, and the rest was history. So from there point on, from 18 years old all the way 28, I worked for Boeing as first as an internship, then as a software specialist, and then a software engineer as soon as I got my degree.
Wow.
And I worked myself up to software engineer level 3, and there I was doing my thing for 10 years. Benefits,
That's
they paid
insane.
for USC, got my MBA at USC, full ride, 3 years, $100,000 a
Not
year, and
bad.
no questions asked, tuition, parking, books. I mean, it changed everything. And so going back to the beginning, if you realize about life, that this motion of me raising my hand in that classroom changed the direction of my life for the next 10, 15 years. And it was just those little moments. So we have to appreciate any small details that we do, any decisions that we make on a daily life might impact or might change the direction of our lives. We just got to be intentional about it. That's all we have to
Yes.
do. We can't just wing it every day. That's the most important lesson. Every day we have to wake up thanking God that we wake up, number one, and then we go on for a day with intention. And we go out there with intention and align our goals in the next 3 to 5 years. The things that matter to you and that align with your goals will stand out to you. Everything else around it will be blurry. Kind of like the red car theory. I've asked people, hey, count the red amount of red cars you saw on the way home. You can't tell me that. But if I didn't tell you that, you can't. But if I tell you that, you will be able to count the number of red cars because you're not looking for it, for
Mm,
opportunity. So that's exactly how life should be. So that's how it came about. I was doing that for
wow.
10 years. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, and it helped that you were open to it. Like just you raising your hand, like saying yes to it. I feel like that's another big life lesson there. Just you kind of being allowing for that opportunity and saying, you know what, I'm in. Like
Yeah.
that's already a great example.
Right. Of
What was something that you learned working there? I mean, obviously we won't cover the full 10-year of
Yes.
you there, but what was
Of
something that you walked out of that job and you were like, okay, I can take this with me.
You know what? Aside from the corporate politics that I don't miss, it was the structure. It was the structure that taught me what I do now in my business.
Mhm.
Having board meetings, having weekly meetings, running through action items, delegation, all that stuff was happening at Boeing, right? I was part of a department, part of a group. So as a kid, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, all the way those first 10 years, I was still a kid. I'm 45, but back then I was a kid among, older white employees. Like that was another culture shock that I had. Like I was this kid from Linwood, Barrio, and now I get put into this company where I've never seen, other than being my high school teachers, they were not, I didn't see them anywhere else. And so for me, it was just like a culture shock. But two, I learned a lot from my coworkers. I learned a lot of structure. I was forced to almost to grow up faster than I should have, but it worked for me, obviously, for my second part of my life, which is real estate. But reality is I learned the structure that as an employee to really implement in my real estate business, because that's what's needed in real
Yeah.
estate.
Well, and at that young age, structure is all you need. That is like one of the most important parts of growing up. That is part of that. Now, when you left, how did that transition go? How from that job to the real estate? Did you
Right.
fall into it? Was it, how did that go?
Well, I make a joke of this all the time. I read a book called, and some of you guys may know about this book. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And that book alone made me almost, not almost, it did. I quit my job 4 months after I finished reading that book. So I read that book in April of 2008. And in August of 2008, I turned in my 2 week notice and I quit my job at Boeing. My manager was stunned, said, well, okay, that's what you wanted to do. Go for it. So I was on a mission because that book changed my mindset about what I should be doing. I'm 28. I'm still young. I was kind of tired of the 9 to 5. Every day, the same thing. It was kind of like the movie Groundhog Day. It was just the same thing over and over and over again. And I knew like something needed to give. I felt like a lion inside a cage, roaming back and forth. Like, let me out. I know I can do more. This is a great paying job. Trust me, it's great benefits. I mean, I Googled how much it would be, how much I'll be making now in 2026, how much it was back then. It will be $150,000 a year at 28 years old.
Not
So
bad.
I
Not
was,
bad at all.
and benefits, not and benefits and paid for USC. So I left a great, prestigious Fortune 100 company job. And so people were calling me crazy. They were like, my friends and family, they look at me like, they tilted their head. What happened? Like almost feeling sorry for me. What happened? Almost went from Boeing prestigious job to real estate agent. Like, what happened to you? Like, you downgraded in a way. I'm like, look, you don't see the bigger vision. I see the vision behind this. This is just the starting point of what is about to come. I knew what was going to happen. I may sound very brash and certain, but you have to be that way in order to accomplish those goals. I was talking that way back in 2008, even during that time. So the joke is that I quit 3 weeks before the market crashed.
That's
So,
nuts.
and obviously I wasn't unfortunate that I didn't know this. So I always joke and I said, hey, I try to go back to my job and say, can I have my job back? I was just kidding, and obviously they said, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You
no,
made
get
your
out of
bed,
here.
lay in it.
Yeah.
So, but it was a saying of committing now and you figure it out later. You commit now and you figure it out later. That's how you make changes in your life. Sometimes we're scared. We're in this circle, called life, daily life. We're just going in the circles every day, every week, the same thing, right? Work, real estate, mortgage, whatever it is that you're doing. But it's repetitive, different clients, different faces, but the same process, the same problem, same issue, same wins, same closes, same fundings, same thing, same thing. But at some point, you got to make that jump and you got to just go to another circle. But
Mhm.
that jump is what a lot of people are scared of because it's uncertainty. People don't like risk. I get it. It's natural. But if we have a mentality of committing now and figuring it out later, you'll be surprised what you can do as far as the human mind on fight or flight, right? When it's fight or flight, you are going to survive, or your survival skills will enable within you, and you will make it happen. So when I quit my job at Boeing, I only had $80,000 in my 401k plan. That's all I had left. No job. And when you quit a job, you don't get unemployment benefits. Only if you get laid off. So I was all on my own for $80,000. Eventually, the 80,000 was gone because the
Yeah.
market had just crashed. I was rookie, didn't have any experience. Market was pretty much dead. My money was gone. And eventually, I started to do side jobs, right? Fix computers, whatever I knew
Yeah.
what to do, I did to pay for gas and what have you. But reality is that that's how the transition happened. Eventually, obviously, I kept working myself towards real estate and didn't quit, persevered. Yeah, I went through some sort of depressed state, 2010, 11. But eventually I kept going at it, didn't quit. There was so many days and mornings where I cried myself in my room, asking myself, was this the right decision for me? Did I do the right thing? Should I go back to work? Should I just go back to Boeing again and forget about this real estate thing? My parents were like, what are you doing? Get a real job. This thing is not working for you. I don't see you getting paid. You're asking to borrow money from us. I mean, I'm giving you the real stuff. And this was
Yeah.
real.
And what was it that held out hope? I mean, we have people now. I mean, look at the industry now. We have people that kind of see other people making money and they go, I could do that. Then they get into this business. They find out that they're, wow, okay, I can't make money that easily. And then they kind of
Right.
opt out or they come back in. They tiptoe around it. They go half in, half out. What kept you here? What held you down here? What did you see?
Well, here's the thing. I'm a big fan and big person about self accountability.
Mhm.
Here's the thing. we like to make excuses as to why things are going wrong. We like to blame other factors and situations as to why things are happening. I'll be honest with you. The reason why I didn't really, start real estate, off the jump and sprung into making good money in the first 3 years, it wasn't only because of the market. I was not disciplined. I wasn't mature. To think about it, from 18 to 28, I never really had an opportunity to really kind of relax. I was always, 9 to 5, going to school. So at 28, ¿cómo es? Me dejé el pelo suelto. I let my hair loose and I let out. I was having fun. I was going out. I was doing this and that. And I wasn't really structured. I wasn't going to the office in the mornings. And I felt like I needed to get that out of my system to get going. And so I'm first one to say, hey, you know what? It was on me. It was on me the first 3 years. I can't say the market. Yeah, the market has to do with it. It made it more difficult, but it wasn't impossible to make money. I'm not, that's the thing. So eventually 2012, I realized, and this is what a lot of agents feel too, go through as well. They leave a corporate structured job to get into a business that they can have their own hours. They have their own freedom now. They feel they can have their own schedule now. And like, oh my God, finally, I don't have to work for the man. I don't have to work for the boss. I can have my own schedule and make tons of money because everyone on social media looks like they're making money. But they
Millions.
don't share the losses, right? They don't share what's happening behind the scenes. But here, the thing is that the top producers, the ones that actually last, realize at some point it clicks. OMG, I actually have to go back to structure. I actually have to go back to having a schedule. I actually have to go back to working for myself, for my own company. And so reality is that's what happened. That's what turned around what turned my business around was when I actually started to get to the office at 8 in the morning for 6, 8 months. And those 6, 8 months just turned everything around and made me realize, wow, this is it. It just clicked. And ever since it clicked, I didn't let go of that. Now it's just the work ethic. I want more of it. The competitive nature kicked in. Now it's more like, okay, I got this now. Let me perfect it. Now in 2015, let me start my own brokerage. So
Yeah.
6 years later, I started my own brokerage, and there I was doing that, and we went from like 3 agents that first year to 60 agents the next year, and so we just kept growing and growing, and just I kept putting myself in front of agents every single Mondays, and that's how we continued on.
Is that something that you teach the agents that you're building, that you're mentoring? Is that something you tell them? You say, let's start a routine together. Like you have that in your company, you have that in the day to day with, with the agents that you're helping build up and support. Do you teach them that routine, or you teach them to make their own?
Every day. The problem is that not many agents grasp on it yet. They don't. It doesn't click yet. Some who are just natural students and will say whatever Edwin says, I'm doing it. Yeah, they'll catch on. They'll do it. But some are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll continue to wing it. And yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, whatever. And I always tell them my biggest regret when I started real estate was not having a CRM,
Mm.
right? Database, right? And that's one thing that I tell every agent. And that's part of the business. Every
Yeah.
business out there in the world has a customer list. Macy's has a customer list. Every time I shop at Macy's, they know I get a e-receipt on email. Along with that, I get some coupons. Hey, come back, Edwin. They know I just got there.
Yeah.
That's what business is. I go to McDonald's, they have a rewards app, or this and that, whatever. When I get kid stuff, every business has a customer list. We, as a real estate agent, are a business. And sometimes we don't respect each other enough to consider ourselves as a business. We still see each other as John Doe or Maria Reyes, and that's it. No, it should be a business. You are Maria is the business. And so we treat it as such. And we don't. We just wait for the business. We don't go after it.
A long time ago, someone told me that your net worth in this industry is your lot is your, that list is the list of consumers. Like creating that database and working on that Excel spreadsheet, depending
Mm.
on where you house all these things, but your database is your net worth. Like that is how much you are worth to others. If you can tap into that net worth, into that database whenever you can, when you have something going on, when you're marketing a product, when you're marketing yourself, having that to rely on and go back to is a big part of your business.
Yeah. And you could sell the CRM system when you retire.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
It's on that book.
Mhm.
All right. So now that we know the routine secret, all right. So tell me a little bit about your wife and how you've kind of created this incredible business with her and how that all came about.
Well, my wife is an incredible woman. She's actually on the participants. I see her on there as well. So
Hey,
shout out
shout
to
out
her.
Claudia.
She is amazing. One of the things that she's really good at is obviously understanding or supporting in her partner, right? And knowing the things that I do best and allows me to do that, right? Instead of adding more stuff that gets in the way. In other words, there's things that she does, she's good at, and she'll take that responsibility. And for me, it's more like I put my cape on as soon as I get out the house. She's like, "Go get it, go do it," and she does, right? And she's there for the kids. I'm there for the kids as well, but she does it more. She actually also works with me as well as a loan officer.
Oh, that's
So she's
awesome.
a licensed loan officer, and she leads a team of 5 loan officers. So she leads that mortgage division. So when you hear that I have all these 5 companies, well, it's not all just me.
Yeah,
She also handles one of the divisions and or a couple of divisions, and that's one of them. So it helps out obviously because she's there at the office, and we're doing this together. We talk about business, we talk about decisions, and she brings that other perspective from the Latina side or female side about business because I can come off too strong sometimes, and she kind of says, "Hey, you know what? You should soften up a little bit." And I kind of said, "You know what? Yes, I respect her enough to actually listen to certain factors, and say, okay, yeah, you're right." So that dynamic happens where now as a brokerage, you see this husband and wife brokerage, and we have more opportunity to recruit more agents because now it feels more of a family feel. We are like, I kid you not, our brokerage, we have close to 100 agents. We're 80% female, you know,
that's
and
awesome.
and I got the good side because I tell people, I tell my guys, like, I'm sorry, but the females are the best salespeople out there over males. They're better salespeople than the males. That's just plain and simple,
This is
right?
recorded. I'm going to save this for later. I'm going to post it on social media. Everyone's going
You
to get
do
a
that.
copy. We're all going to write this down. Yes, thank you.
It'll so true. I am blessed with having them because honestly, one, they know they have empathy, they understand the sale part of it. One of the things that I do work on them, and that's why they obviously are probably, I did ask questions. I'm a big student of business, and I ask, why are you in our office? And one is because you give me a family feel. The one of the common answers in the survey I got, I feel safe. I feel
Oh, I
safe
like that. That's nice.
because believe it or not, in this industry, there's brokers out there who are married who still obviously still come on to agents and they feel uncomfortable. They've left those brokerages and they felt for the few years they've been with me, I never felt that with you, Edwin, whatsoever. I feel safe. I can focus on my business. My husband feels I can come here without having being to ask questions. And that's the reality of things. I asked those questions. I didn't come up with that answer. Those were real, raw answers that I got. And so
Yeah,
now
I agree.
you got my wife who, real estate agents are also, they have personal life too. They have issues. They want to balance problems with someone. So who can they relate to? Claudia. Hey, they go into her office and they ask advice like, "Hey, I'm having issues." And so it works out where she brings that female sense of like compassion and empathy, but also that second opinion whenever I'm feeling some sort of doubt on a decision. And so it works out very well. She's a big supporter on everything I'm doing. And so it's been a great journey so far and great to share it together.
Fantastic. No, I completely agree. I think this industry has a tendency to get very Wolf of Wall Street, and it's good. It's good to see that there are people out there doing good business, doing good work, and treating, the people that they work with respect. So that's
Right.
awesome. Shout out to Claudia. I appreciate you. Before we get into some NAHREP questions, really quick, just to sum it up, what is one piece of advice that you would give people working with their spouses in this industry? Sometimes, it's brokerage, sometimes it's lenders, in all aspects of the industry, we see a lot of, obviously married couples or partnerships working together. What is one piece of advice that you would give to like guarantee success?
Give the opportunity to miss each other, especially if you guys are working together. um, Claudia, she has her own office and I have mine. Right? We don't share an office. I rarely go walk over to her office unless it's very urgent or it's important. And so that gives us an opportunity to come home and say, wow, how was work? Even though we're like one wall away from each other.
Yeah.
Also, in real life, a lot of people don't talk about this, but there are arguments between the husband and wife. It's going to happen no matter what. There's going to be disagreements. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I've talked to many husband and wives that work in the business, and they're like, Edwin, like, you should say this more often. Like we have disagreements, like, and they look at each other like, you see, Edwin does have it with Claudia too. They have it, and so they feel at ease because they know someone else, other couples are having it. And for me, I'm a transparent person. Just like in DC when I had my speech, I was very transparent. I let it all out that night in DC, and I would do it here as well. And for me, it's like, how do we navigate around that? So one of the things we do now is that whenever we talk about work, we wait till we get to the office. We don't
Yeah.
try to talk about it at night in the household or in the mornings when we're getting ready. We're brushing our teeth at the same time. We're probably quiet most of the time, but as soon as we get to work, or let's talk, because sometimes based on what the subject's about business, it may escalate. And our kids don't deserve to hear that, right? They don't. They deserve to see mom and dad home, and that's what they want to see. That's what they deserve. They shouldn't be hearing about anything else. So we wait till we get to the office, and we stop it as soon as we leave the office. And we got to have it that way. That way we have that harmony. So again, that's what we strive for, and we learned that. We it wasn't something that was like textbook and we learned it. No, it was over time. And
Yeah.
like Claudia said, it's still, it's not perfect, but we know it's there, and we try to follow those rules, and it has improved. And as long as we improve each year, that's all that matters.
I
Right.
love
So
that though. I like that idea of it, each subject has its space. Like,
yeah,
whatever the subject matter is, has its assigned space, and we'll talk about it there because there needs to be an off switch. It's so
correct.
easy in this industry to just we have our own timelines. We are our own bosses. So there is no like punch in, punch out. There's none of that. Like
Mhm.
you're punch in
Right.
all the time, 24/7.
Right.
So you need to be your own advocate and say, you know what? I'm going to take this break. No, like we're not going to talk about this here or now. That's fantastic that you guys do that
Mhm.
to each other. All right.
Right.
So now I'd love to get into some spicy NAHREP stuff because I
All
know that
right. Let's do.
some of the people on here watching are in NAHREP. I've been a part of NAHREP since like 2017 or so. Proud
All
member,
right.
love it. 10 out of 10, highly recommend if anyone is watching that isn't in NAHREP or supporting it. You being where you are in NAHREP, tell me a little bit about how you got to know NAHREP and what amazing things it's done for your business or just you as a person.
It has done so much for me. Right now, the opportunities that getting right now is something I would not even imagine. Being the national president, I get requests to meet with people that are aligned with my goals. I get to meet different people across the country, members across the country, and I just love it. I love meeting different people from Jersey, Florida, Chicago, Texas. And what I realize is that we're all in the same boat. We're on the same journey, just different faces from different states.
Mhm.
And so for me to meet them in person and sometimes hear their stories, because they share their stories with me, it really inspires me. I walk away with a smile and I say, wow, like this fulfills my heart to know that I'm doing the right thing. Because people ask me sometimes, like, why are you doing this? This is a volunteer job. I go, for me, it's not a volunteer job.
Yeah.
This is not, yeah, I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid through a fulfillment of my heart, through fulfillment of knowing and understanding that I'm impacting people across the country with my story, because every national president has their own story. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business builder. You got your inspirational leaders, you got your advocates, you got different
Mhm.
types. That's who I am this year. That's who I am. That's what you're gonna get from me. I've been part of the National Advocate Committee back years ago with NAHREP. So I've been part of different organizations within NAHREP, but I think ultimately what I really want to focus on is, you know, having that member to be successful, because that is the biggest vote you can have in this country, is to be successful. When you're successful, the government is going to look at you as someone as an important factor, and your vote's going to matter more than before. The local politicians are going to pass laws to appease the things that you're doing. You know, one prime example is becoming a homeowner. When you become a homeowner, you now pay property taxes. When you pay property taxes, you're contributing to the government a little bit more. When you're a homeowner, laws and legislature tends to be customized for you. So now you become someone that obviously matters in the government, right? More than you were before. And when you're successful as a business owner, you're also another factor, because you have this power of like making a difference, you know. And I think that's the biggest thing that I like to have. And that's that analogy I like to make, where if we lose pressure in a flight, the first thing they tell you to do is put your air mask first, and then you put it on your kid, right? And that's how you got to do first. You got to be successful first.
Yes.
Get you be successful, and then you can help the next person. Right.
Right.
So go and be successful. Go and focus on your business. Do that. And trust me, you can impact a lot more lives that way, in my opinion, by really building yourself and becoming more valuable in that respect. But NAHREP, going back to it, when I started, I got a call. I got a call from a board of director for NAHREP Los Angeles. I was at work, 8 o'clock at night, Wednesday. I was a member at NAHREP. That's all I was. I was just there, you know, as a member. I would attend maybe one event, maybe every year. That's it. But they called me and asking, and they basically would ask me, "Hey, we got your name from somebody, and I'm from Bridget. Shout out for her. She mentioned my name and said, hey, we are calling because we wanted to see if you're interested in becoming part of a board of director for NAHREP Los Angeles." And I said, well, I'm kind of busy with my business. I'm building it right now. I'm 3 years into my brokerage. I'm kind of, I don't think I'm gonna have time for it. And somehow that person convinced me to join. And so eventually that's where I came on board. I was a president-elect right away because the chapter was
Nice.
in ruins. It was
Oh,
in
just
ruins.
kidding. Not
And so
nice.
they were like, we need a leader right now. We're not going to give you time to
You're
work
it.
yourself up. You're it. Go for it. And I'm like, what? So they wanted to make me president that same year. And luckily, my good friend and amigo Armando Tam heard about it. He was national, and he called me directly. He says, Edwin, I don't know you, but that's not going to happen. You're not going to be president this year. I'm like, what? I go, they're setting you up to fail. They're setting you up for failure. And I will never forget those words. And so instead of my emotional state saying, no, no, it's my
I could do
position,
it.
I
No.
wanted, I understood what he said, because I ended up being president-elect that year instead of president, and being part of those board director meetings. I was like, oh my God, I would have not known what to do. I don't know anything about the mission. I would have been like, I don't know the Roberts rules. None of that stuff would have been there for me. I didn't know the objective, none of that. So for me, that one year, I was just like absorbing. I was just a sponge.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a student. I was like, I go back to my student, life, and there I was, just studying, knowing exactly what the mission was. What was the assignments? What do I got to do? So for when my year came, I knew what time it was, and
Yeah.
exactly that's what happened. So that chapter, like every chapter has their own bank account for sponsors and opportunities. I only had $3,000. When I stepped down from president in 2018, I left it with close to $100,000 in sponsorships
Oh
and money.
my goodness.
So I basically treated it like a business.
That's
That's
awesome.
what that's what caught the attention from the national board, from the national Gary and what have you. They're like, who's this kid in the West Coast who just turned around that chapter of Los Angeles from what it was to what it is now? And that was the first time they were like, let's invite him over to our national committees and events and meetings. And I never said no. I
Yeah.
never said no. I just kept saying yes. I like, let's do it. I wanted to answer the call every single time. So people ask me, what made you want to become national president? I go, nothing. I just continued to say yes to everything I wanted to be part of because that was who I am. I love to serve. I'm a servant leader. And for me, it was that eventually got me the position. It wasn't like I'm going to be national president one day. It just happened because they saw the work I put in. I'm in it 100% or zero. There's no in between with me.
Yes. No, but
And
I mean,
that's just
flash
who I am.
back to you in that class raising your hand saying yes. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
opportunities don't just come, like the door will open, but you have to walk through that door. You have to make that choice and say, yes, today is the
Yeah.
day that I will say yes to this and I'll do
Hmm.
it. That's
Correct.
amazing. Now,
Yeah.
you are obviously in the know of NAHREP and you know what's going on. I don't want to
Yeah.
divulge any secrets, National, but if you can give us kind of a look in the future. What are some amazing initiatives that NARED has planned? Maybe it's just you. Maybe it's some things that you have planned. How are we going to help Latino home buyers and how are we going to push that mission forward?
Well, for the past 26 years, our mission has been, sustaining and increasing Hispanic home ownership, and then now we're adding wealth to this whole movement. And every national president is tasked to start an initiative.
Mhm.
And so there's previous past presidents who've done different things. My initiative this year, and I announced it in DC in March, is that we will have a NAREP international movement. We're going to have our first NAREP chapters outside of the United States for the first time ever. So now we're going to see a future of NAREP chapters, no longer NAREP Chicago, NAREP LA, what have you. We will see a future starting next year of NAREP Mexico, NARP
Wow.
Spain, NARP Canada, NARP Costa Rica, NARP Colombia, NARP El Salvador. We're taking this international now,
That's
right? And
amazing.
people are like, what does that got to do with us in the States? I'm like, there's that's the thing. Here's the thing, and I talked about this in my previous video I posted a few days ago. Um, we've been focusing on Hispanic home ownership buyers, first time home buyers. But what about the first three cabooses of that train, that Hispanic homeownership train? In
Mhm.
other words, those people, that generation that bought in the 80s and 90s, right, and the early 2000s, they probably already have their homes free and clear. They paid off their homes.
Mhm.
And just like other Americans, our counterparts, New York and what have you, what do they do with that money or the equity? They diversify it. They start buying vacation homes, investment homes in Mexico. Where do they go when it's too cold in New York? They go to Cabo. They spend a vacation there, or they spend their time in Spain or what have you. And so now they start diversifying that money to different places. So the same thing needs to happen with us. So we're trying to now navigate and educate the sellers or the homeowners in this case are like, okay, what's next? We can't just sit on this equity and not mobilize it. We need to activate this equity to do something. Of
Yeah.
course, to mitigate the risk as much as possible, but educate them to the opportunities, not to force them to do something, but just to educate them on what is ahead in case you want it. We're going to present these doors to you. And so now we're going to have counterparts in our Mexico who are connected with developers, agents, lenders, who now who are on our end. I'm sure, and our members who are our NAR members have clients who said at some point, I want to sell my house and I want to retire in Mexico. I want to retire
Yeah.
back into my motherland. I want to go back to my where I grew up at. I'm done. It's too expensive to the United States. Social Security is not enough for me to retire
Mhm.
here. I need to go back, or I always want a home, a property out there to invest in, or Airbnb it, or what have you. So now that NAR member can connect with a NAR Mexico member and they can talk and now refer, or obviously create that bridge to now create that flow of business. So we're going to have business going in from Mexico and going out of the United States and to another respective countries like Brazil and Colombia
Wow.
and what like I mentioned. So now we're going to expand international. Our opportunities are going to be international, not those longer domestic, international. Because if our counterparts are doing the same thing, why can't we do the same? We need to expand it. We need to expand the horizon, and that's what we're doing. We're going international.
Wow. Not even,
Yeah.
guys, not even just a casual, like, drop of info, just this major global world domination thing. That's
Yes, we're
awesome.
talking global, and we're going to
Wow.
announce our first NAHREP chapters on NAHREP Mexico, NAHREP Spain, and another NAHREP chapter at our Avance Global Conference in Mexico City in January.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm going to
awesome.
have the board of directors go on stage, and they're going to hold hands, and I'm already seeing it in vision. It's already there
Yeah.
in my head. They're going to come on stage, they're going to raise their hands together, holding hands together, and I'm going to have their flag on the screen behind them with fireworks like boom, NAR Mexico,
Awesome.
congratulations, your launch. NAR
Yeah.
Spain, boom, boom, boom. So I envision a conference where we're going to have every NAR chapter from those countries go on stage with their flag and have a parade and go up on stage. It's like, all right, NAR Mexico, come up on stage. NAR Spain, NAR Brazil, come on, Colombia. And we're going to have all of them go on stage and parade up the stage and go down the stage with their flag. And it's going to be such a proud moment because that's the true Latino global movement right there.
It's going to
That's what
make
I
the
see.
FIFA World Cup look like amateur hour, is what this is.
Yeah, there
Forget
we
the
go.
World Cup. It's this.
Yes,
This is what's going to
yes,
bring the world together. That's
yes,
awesome. That's
yeah.
incredible. What an amazing mission. Not even just for global home ownership, investorship, but just diversifying, like being where the people are at. You know that these are the next steps where people are going to go, and we're meeting them where they're at. As NAHREP members, as NAHREP executive, board, people and leaders, you're going to where they're going to be. Like you're meeting people where they're at. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I mean, I'm saying congratulations because I know it's going to happen and you're going to make it happen. So I would love to be on the stage, like with a little. I want to handle one of the fireworks, please. I volunteer.
Yeah, let's do it.
But that's
Yeah, you gotta
amazing.
have those audacious goals.
Absolutely. Listen, audacious or nothing at all.
Yeah,
So
all
I
day.
we're kind of nearing the end. So I did want to kind of sum up and do at least one more question before
Yeah, go
we
for it.
wrap up and
Ask
say
away.
goodbye. Love you all. So I'm looking through my questions and I want to make it impactful, but what when it comes to NAHREP, we've talked a little bit about Hispanic homeownership and what that mission is. And we talked about what you're going to do globally. Now, how can we do it on a small scale in the everyday? What, for the people watching here, for me, talking to you, what can we do to advance Hispanic homeownership and be better at it? Just in the everyday, not big picture, small picture, daily steps.
You know, NAREP's mission has always been to, empower our members, where then in turn they empower the community, right? Yeah, that's where our corporation our mission statement is set up that way. A lot of people have asked, and I've come across members who are like, how come NAREP doesn't reach out to the community and have events, direct community? We can't, because if we change our mission statement, then the IRS would have to tax us differently and put us in different codes. That's how
Oh
technical it
my
gets.
God.
It's not like, okay, even though our mission statement says empower our members, let's go ahead and go on and do a community event. Not just straight community. We can't. It's not that easy. So reality is that, following our mission statement, when we empower a community, when our members attend our regional events that we're having, we have 6 a year. Our next one is Las Vegas next week on Tuesday. For those that can join, I hope to see you guys there. I'll be there. I'll be on a panel, moderating a panel. And then our next one will be August 6th in Miami. So we're having regional events. We're there to do like a tour of leading up to the national conference in Las Vegas on September 14th to the 16th and at the Bellagio. And
I'll be
that's going to
there.
be, yes, hope to see
See
you
you
there.
there.
I hope to see everyone on this webinar there. And it's going to be a marketplace of the most successful Latinos in every industry in one building. And Bellagio has already said that this will be the biggest conference attendees that they've ever booked. And so imagine just walking through the corridors with just successful Latinos from all types of walks of life, whether it's social media, influencers, tech, finance, film, real estate, of course, fintech, private equity, tax, tax preparers to, I mean, all types and builders, developers, you know, you CEOs, Fortune 100 companies, you want to be in that building.
Mhm.
And so what I ask of the members is to attend these conferences because I can guarantee you that the conference that's going to happen in September, you're going to walk away with like awe. You're going to walk away inspired. And when you're inspired, the hope is that you go back to your community and you inspire that buyer. You inspire that homeowner. You inspire that next person and say, you too can become a homeowner. You too can become someone that can create wealth for your family. You too can create a legacy because I've seen it. I've seen it. I've been at the finish line and I've come back to the starting line to come and get you and say, let me hold your hand. We're going to the finish line because I know where it's at. I know where the promised land is at. Let's go. And so that's what we're doing here. Rather, what we're doing here, we want to showcase this conference of successful people so you can say not only that you can do it, but also push people to do it. So that's my ask of everyone here is to just get involved, be intentional, and help the next person up. Because I refuse for us Latinos to be labeled as having a crap mentality. Screw that
Yeah.
stuff. We're gonna uplift people. We're gonna change the narrative, and we do it through organizations like NAHREP, through leadership.
Absolutely. Wow, what
And
a
that's
mic drop.
what I
My goodness. I
think.
thank you for this. Guys, I hope you're feeling as motivated as I am. I'm gonna go like clean out my closet, change my life, do my taxes. I don't know. I'm gonna do a million things today. Thank you so much, Edwin, for being on here, for talking us through your journey, for being the kind of person that raises your hand and says yes and just runs at things full speed and knows that they'll work out and empowers other people to to grow as well. So thank you so much. A testament to your leadership is how you build other people up. So clearly, you're doing the right thing. I appreciate you coming on today. Guys, si se puede. I see it. I see it in the chat. I hope to see you all in Las Vegas in September. I hope to see you all in more NAHREP conversations, supporting NAHREP. Just go to an event and check it out. You know what? Who says you don't, no pressure here. Go check it out, fall in love, and then come back to me and let me know how it went. So thank you so much for joining us today. I can't wait to see you in other Éxito sessions and conversations that we'll have. Follow along with our journey, and that's it. I love you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.